To come on with a real short video of how I move my quilt on my hoop style cutie frame, and also give you a tip on how to make your life easier when you have to unroll it a little bit, but to keep it from completely unrolling and hitting the floor and having to re-roll so much and take a lot of time. It's just something I just figured out yesterday, which is going to change my life. So just to start off with a little introduction to my system here, I have a QCT6 automation from Grace Company. It's computerized quilting. This is my little Rebel. It's a hybrid machine. You can piece with it. You can also long arm with it. And this, I strictly use this for long arming and use my Juki for piecing. It's very mechanical sounding. I have a few shorts if you want to look at the computerized quilting process. It is pretty loud, so you might want to turn it down a little bit when you're watching them. But it is very mechanical sounding because it's a very mechanical machine. It's no bells or whistles, not a lot of electronics built into it, just a stitch regulator, and it's good to go. And this is the this overhead handlebar system comes with the newer frames. My frame, this regular cutie frame, is discontinued. You might be able to find it at an extreme discount at some other stores, some sewing machine stores that sell Grace products. But they have a new one out called the Cutie Breeze. That's a little more improved. So my setup may be a little different than the newer ones, but they are starting to sell these blue clips because the system they tried to redesign wasn't working as well. So, and I've got this set up on a elevated desk. It's one that can move up and down as I need it, and I've got it pretty much right up under my chest, high, kind of belly high, and that way I can free motion quilt if I want to take the ratchets off and just do free motion, or it's just easier for me to hold on to the machine and pull bobbins and stuff at this height. So I'm going to demonstrate what I said earlier, which was a quick and easy, excuse my dog, she's barking, quick and easy way to move this. Let me shut my door. A quick and easy way to move this and to keep this from completely unraveling. This works really well on large quilts. Like this is a large throw, almost twin size, anything from that size up to a king or queen that you're doing on a hoop style frame. This is going to work good. Not probably so much with baby quilts, but maybe long table runners or door banners. Anything that you have to roll up to keep up here. And you can float these, but with this new carriage, it's harder on my frame to float. So I've had to start rolling them back up. I used to just let it hang, and we were all good in the hood. But this one has a little bit more length on the bottom and a few more little notches and things, and it makes it a little more difficult. So here we go. I'm fixing to start moving this quilt to my next area. It's locked in place and telling me to put it on 20A, which is way over here. So I need to move my quilt this way. So I'm taking these little bungee straps down, and I have put my desk chair underneath my desk, right up against the desk, and I'm just going to let this unravel a little bit till it hits my chair. But it's not unraveling all the way. See, it's still rolled up, which will make it a whole lot easier to roll back up and put in my straps. Now I'm going to take my plastic clamps off. I'm going to do the same thing with the back, and because this is laying on your machine, it doesn't unravel too much. So it is easier up here. That's why when I did this, I was like, oh my God, that is so much easier. Because I was having a lot of difficulty, especially after my elbow and wrist surgery, rolling it up, and I was getting very tired. So I'm taking these off. I'm leaving one on so that I can still have this stable, and I'm just going to pull the quilt in the direction I need to go. And that way everything stays, and I don't have to make such big adjustments. So here we are. I'm going to take both sides of the quilt, one hand here, one hand here, and I'm going to pull until I reach my 20A marker that I've marked with tape on my quilt is underneath the needle. And I'm going to have to move this clip down just slightly, because I'm going to need to go just a little farther, about 5 inches. Here we are. And just make sure that the tape is down so it doesn't get underneath the thing. And we're close. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's just got to be close. So now we can put our clips back on, like so. One thing I do is I make sure that my 21A is fairly close to being around the same distance from this back bar as my 20A is, just so it's not so crazy and diagonally. It'll still quilt out straight, it's just, it'll get kind of weird towards the end when you're trying to quilt. And I need to take out my basting pins. Now I baste with giant safety pins, quilting basting pins. You can spray baste, but I find that doesn't last as long, and generally I have these on the frame for up to a week, depending on how fast I can get one done. Now this is a fairly easy loopy meander. If you watch my shorts, you will see this, and I'll link it to that short, I'll link this video, or vice versa, so that you can see what design I'm actually quilting on here. It's a very large, loose, loopy meander, so it's going fairly quickly. This may only take me 2 days. Started yesterday, and I may finish it tonight, or I may finish it early in the morning. But gotta take out these basting pins. And I'll have a video up on how I baste. I've got one, but I have an updated version coming up. And also, if you see any stray threads where you were piecing, kind of clean those up so they don't get caught up in the quilting. It's just easier to do it before you quilt it. And just take these basting pins out so that you can put your clamps on. They don't get in the way. You can put them over it. I have before, but sometimes it bends them and then they're hard to get off, or sometimes it can even put bigger holes and cause them to make bigger holes in your quilt. So I always just try to give myself some room. The only time I don't is if I'm coming up on close to the end and I need those clips, I need those basting pins to be in there for stability. But okay, so we've got those on. So now, since we've got this laying on our chair and it's already halfway rolled up, it's only going to take us just a few minutes to roll it back up. It doesn't have to be neat, but it does need to be kind of small so that it, straighten it out, so that it doesn't hit so that your machine doesn't hit it as it's moving along and getting stuck. You don't want that. always tighten these if you need to. As it's getting closer to the end, you're going to have to tighten. This is going to get smaller and that end's going to get bigger. So, and you want it to kind of stay up a little bit. Straighten out that. Sometimes you gotta just really pull them. And then I move my chair out of my way so I don't trip over it. And I do the back. You just roll it up. Secure it with your bungees. And you're good to go. So, you know, I showed how I moved it, and I also showed you a good trick on how to keep this from unrolling and causing a headache of having to re-roll every time you have to move your quilt, which is probably going to be close to 76 times on this one here. So, just a little tip of mine, and you could probably use this tip if you have a sit-down machine and you've got it rolled up and you're having to adjust and move around, or even like one of the sit-down long arms where you're pushing it through, and if you've got it rolled up, it would be a good trick to kind of see if you can do something similar to that. So, but this is my setup, and I will link the pattern that I'm using, the Loopy Meander short that I created yesterday, to show y'all how it's done. So if y'all have any questions about the Grace Quilting Frame or the Little Rebel, let me know. I'm not affiliated with them in any way. They don't pay me to say anything. It's just I've had this system, this full system, for over a year, almost 2 years. And this machine I've had for almost a year, year and a half. And I've had this for almost 3 years. The frame for 3 years, this for almost 2 years. And I have nothing but great things to say about it. And, you know, it's affordable for those of us who can't afford a full long arm. And it gives you long arm quality sewing. There is a little bit of a learning curve, but that's with any machine, even a long arm, a big $15,000 long arm. You're going to have a learning curve, and a lot of your first quilts are not going to be perfect, but once you get the hang of it, you know, things just get easier and get smooth as butter. And I have, you know, some very beautiful quilts that I've quilted on this frame that, you know, look like I sent them out to be long armed. But so that's it, guys. Happy sewing, and stay tuned for more.